Yes, people, what's happening? Welcome back to the channel and welcome to another video, guys. First things first, make sure you smash the like, subscribe if you're new around here, all of that good stuff. And as always, leave your thoughts in the comments below. And today I'm joined by Alexis from the Cavcast View. Bro, thank you for coming. Greatly appreciate it. We're going to be having just a general chat about Chelsea, the state of play, the upcoming January window. Should we be doing any business? Should we not be doing anything? First things first, Matt, how you doing? You good?
Perfect, man. Happy New Year to everyone. Happy New Year to yourself. By the way, banging intro. Really liked it. It was
No, I
really
appreciate
nice.
it.
Yeah, it's really eye-catching. Great work.
No, well, I'd love to claim it as my own work, but it's absolutely not. I don't have that editing ability. But yeah, we take it. We were just discussing before we started recording, mate, that obviously we all would have taken this position at the start of the season. I don't think we expected to be in the position that we're in. But how kind of timing of losses affects people's perspective. We were on 5 wins in a row, 6 unbeaten after the Everton game. We then draw that one and we've lost back-to-back games. And now, all right, the last 3 games have not been good, but people's perspective in the last 3 weeks has just drastically shifted from what was like an unbelievable start to the season, even though not too much in the grand scheme of things has actually changed in terms of us achieving what we're looking to achieve this year.
100% agree. 100% agree with you. And especially because, so, the whole we're chilled guys. We're not in a title race. And for me, I've always maintained the same principles. On points, we were in a title race. We were in a position where we could have gone top. And I'm not going to run away from it purely because what we say doesn't impact what happens on the pitch. However, people actually believed we were in a title race that was saying we weren't, because the reaction after 3 bad results highlights to me people had different expectations of this team. This is a team that I think we both can agree, right? We expected inconsistency. Third at best, fourth would be a great finish this year. And sadly, that's what not sadly, great news, we're on track. But it feels like a missed opportunity. And we can get into the games, we can get into what went wrong in the last transfer window. You can lead the show in that aspect. But yeah, so far, I'm happy with the season.
Yeah, no, bro, I absolutely hear you. But yeah, look, I think it's always so easy to look back on things and think, oh, we should have done this, we should have done that. But I think you touch on it. There's a few things I wanted to get into. I think I look at certain decisions that were made in the summer. I think looking back now, I don't think the summer window was amazing. Don't get me wrong, there were some good signings. I think Pedro Neto has been a good signing. Jadon Sancho, I think, can offer stuff. Felix is an addition to the squad that adds some depth and adds some quality that we perhaps lacked. I then look at other signings and think Vega, okay, one for the future. Dewsbury Hall, I have no idea why we signed the guy. And then you look at Mark Guiu, for example, and he's someone that's coming in. He's one for the future sort of thing. I just wanted to touch on sort of in midfield right now, because for me, bro, like I look at it and we are so lacking depth in that area. I think a big mistake was made with gambling, essentially, by letting Santos and Ugochukwu both go on loan and gambling on Romeo Lavia staying fit for the majority of a season, which he's not proven that he can do. In hindsight, it's looking like a little bit of a mistake. I mean, would you agree on that? Do you think we are lacking in depth? Do you think that maybe we should be recalling Ugochukwu in January? I mean, everyone would love Santos back, but I think Strasbourg are struggling in Liga. I'm not saying they're going to go down, but they're only a few points above the drop zone, and taking Santos back could see them potentially go down, which obviously Blucher and that wouldn't want. Do you think mistakes were made in the summer in terms of midfield?
It's interesting, right? Because now we can look back, and I agree with you. I personally would take both of them back because I feel like he doesn't trust Keenan Dewsbury Hall, and he doesn't trust Cassidy, and Carney's not getting a look in. Everything we're hearing is Cassaday's going to go this window. Carney's going to go. Keenan Dewsbury Hall is, at this point, me and you on the bench. Like, he's got a season ticket for Cobham, season ticket for Stamford Bridge, season ticket for all included.
He's living a dream.
Yeah, he is. Because he's literally a spectator. And what I think happened was they looked at the squad. They said, Keenan's there. Cassaday's there. We need Leslie and Santos to go and play. But what's happened is Enzo Maresca has no intention of giving either one of them any opportunities. And you know what? I don't blame him, because You see what's happened. We've dropped points in 3 games in a row, and there's a full meltdown. There's almost a crisis. Can you imagine if he takes Enzo Caicedo off and then Keenan or Cassidy make a mistake whilst they're learning on the job? So we need quality there. And I think next season, when we're in the Champions League, I think Enzo and Santos is the perfect replacement for each other, because a lot of people are saying Santos can play the 6. I've seen a bit of Strasbourg this year. I don't see him as a 6. His natural instinct is late runs into the box, get on the ball on the edge of the area, flick the ball, crack. Like he's an 8 he's an old school 8, a Balak. Wants to get around, wants to crash the box, wants to get on the ball. He'll defend, he'll get stuck in because he's an athlete, he's physically built. But he hasn't got the discipline to sit. And we're going to try shoehorn it. So I think Leslie will have to come back as well. And the 4 of them plus Lavia, so 5, that's a very good midfield options for going into next year. But I don't know. Yeah. At the moment, we have problems. I'm not even going to.
No, we do, because like you look at it, and we are looking a bit leggy in midfield. We're looking a bit tired, and well, 2 reasons for that is, one, the intensity that we play at, and with the lack of options, whether injuries, lack of trust. Enzo and Caicedo are being run into the ground at an intensity for 90 minutes week in, week out, which is simply not sustainable over the course of a season. Another big issue is now that we've lost the ability to rotate because the Conference League has gone until March. So that rotational advantage that we had is now not really there anymore. And so you look at it and you're like thinking, well, maybe some changes need to be made, but with injuries that we've had and actual options, I think we found 2 things. That one, maybe the depth perhaps wasn't as good as myself, maybe a lot of us thought it was. And I think secondly, players that were doing the business coming in the Conference League, I think that the lack of quality in the opposition in the Conference League was masking over a lot of these players' deficiencies. And then when you play them in the Premier League, you've seen that maybe some of them perhaps aren't actually up to that level quite yet to be able to do a job.
You know what's interesting? I was thinking about this the other day, because whilst injuries are never an excuse, right? We had 13-14 last year. So it's nowhere near as bad. But when you take Reece James, who's the starter at right back, you take him out, you take a bench player in Gusto and he's first choice. You take Fofana out and you put Tusino Badiashile in, right? So all of a sudden you're 2 starters down. We went through a period where the first, we'll say Lavia's first choice off the bench in the midfield, right? You take him out. It strips the depth of that region of the pitch. So it is very nice for us. And honestly, hindsight, like you said, is a beautiful thing. But can we really say Chelsea were gamble too much? My argument is with Enzo, you have to use Cassidy. Cassidy is he can do the Enzo role, get on the end of things in the box, crash it, good from set pieces, as in he can attack the ball well, gives height. It's just he doesn't trust him. And if you don't trust him and these players are leggy, then I'm sorry, you only have yourself to blame, because part of this remit in this job is developing young players.
Well, I think it goes back to last season, because remember last January, right, where Pochettino wanted a midfield player, right? He was moaning about a lack of depth, wanted someone to come in. We didn't spend the money. We brought Cassidy back, and then he didn't use him at all. He didn't start a single game over that second half of the season. And so that was the option that he was given. Okay, fair enough. You probably didn't want it, but this is the option you've been given. You're moaning about a lack of depth. You've been given someone, and then you're not using him and moaning about the same issues. Now, I'm not saying Maresca's going down that same route, but you look at it and you think there are options there. So we don't have to play Caicedo and Enzo 90 minutes every single week, week in, week out. There are some other options there. I mean, look, you've got Cassidy, who has played done that 6 role in the Conference League. Yes,
he's a 6. And he's not a 6.
He's not a 6, exactly. So there are options there. Look, whatever people think of Dewsbury Hall, right, whether we should have signed him or not is beside the point. He's our player now. We've got him. Surely I'm not saying he has to start games, but surely you can use him for 15, 20 minutes in a game. Are you telling me that he can't do a job for 15, 20 minutes? You spent £30 million on this guy. There's no reasons why he can't. And so I'm looking at it and I'm thinking, Maresca can say that he trusts these players and he's happy with what they're doing. But on the other hand, some of the decisions he's making are showing that actually you don't trust these guys and you don't think they can do a job. So, I mean, what do you think Maresca trusts the squad? Because he says one thing, but then some of the decisions that he's making show something totally different.
No, he doesn't. And I think what is obvious, and this is an assumption, this isn't reported anywhere, this is from my observation. The changes for Ipswich stank of, I'm giving you an opportunity now to keep you happy so your nose doesn't get out of joint. And I can explain it. Sancho should have been dropped, right? I think based
Two
on the
bad
last
games, yeah.
2 bad games. Neto, in my opinion, has been decent. I've got no problem with Noni coming in. So that side of the argument, okay, you started Felix, you signed in, Mudryk suspended, right, indefinitely. So that's the only other option you have. I totally understand. There's no valuable reason that you can tell me Nkunku should have started.
Yeah.
Nkunku hasn't been good this year. Like, I know people are going to say he's our top goal scorer. You give those penalties to Felix, you give those penalties to Noni, you give those penalties to Neto, the numbers are saying a completely different thing from the Conference League stat padding. He hasn't scored open goals. And Disasi, senior, like in a dressing room where your average age is 22, a 25-year-old where a lot of the players look up to him. I've heard Nkunku call him boss man. I've got Fofana call him big man, like big boss. And they're consistently, Lavia talking about how he's the reason he settled into the dressing room. He's a leader in that dressing room. He has to play. You either sell him or you have to find the minutes, because the minute he gets upset, you're going to see a group of players not be happy because they respect him. We don't respect him as a footballer, but I can tell you based on interviews, you can see he's a really influential leader. He's polite. He's nice. Like, you know, sometimes you see people, they're not funny on interviews, that they don't want to be there. He's the opposite. Disasi's very personable. So I understand why he has such a hold in the dressing room. And he gambled and look what happened.
No, bro, I actually think you're spot on. I haven't really thought about it like that before, but I think you're spot on in terms of them changes, right? Those are the sort of players that would come in for the Conference League. And as we've said, you know, now that those minutes are gone until March, you've got to find a way to keep these players happy and give them a few minutes. And that, I think you're right in saying that, you know, that was Maresca's way of giving those guys like an opportunity and to keep them happy, because there's not one single reason, right, why Disasi, we've even seen it in the Conference League, bro. When Disasi's played at right back in Conference League, he's even looked exposed at times at that level in that position.
Because he's not a right back.
But exactly, we know that he's not a right back, and yet the manager keeps playing him there. And even worse, he plays him there, and we had 3 right backs on the bench.
It's crazy.
It was baffling. It was absolutely
another
baffling.
aspect was, right, and that's why I said strike one. Like, I remember in my match review, as soon as I did it, I said today was strike one. Yeah. Ipswich was strike one for Maresca, and it was because player power took over. Nkunku not coming off in the 52nd minute when João came off was hilarious. And the reason why was, I thought Palmer and João, say what you want about João, he's not productive in front of goal. He needs to improve his finishing. I'm the first one to say that.
Yeah, for sure.
I think he's selfish at times, and he's got a Salah mentality. I'm going to shoot 5 times. I'm going to create my own opportunities, and eventually I'll score and I'll go on a run. But he was decent that game with Palmer. And if the goal was going to come, it was going to come through him or Palmer. And what happened? He hooked him off, put Jackson at the 9, gave Nkunku 10 minutes in the 10 to say, I gave you 10 minutes in the 10. You've done nothing. Come off, mate. I'll put Sancho back on.
It was almost like it was ticking boxes, wasn't it? Like
it was.
And I think it's an absolutely fair thing to say. Look, I think me and you have exchanged things on Twitter about Felix, and like, look, at the end of the day, Felix didn't play badly against Ipswich. You know, as you've said, and like I think it's quite obvious, he came off, and I know we lacked an attack anywhere in that game, but anything that we looked relatively dangerous with in that first half was to do with him. And as you said, that's selfish at times. There was an opportunity where he shot where he could have easily played Nkunku, and I think Nkunku was pretty annoyed at him at that point. But like, it shouldn't have been Felix off first. It should have been Nkunku off. And Nkunku's an interesting one, bro, because I look at it and I think we were all so excited when we signed him. 52 million quid. Like, he'd been doing good numbers at Leipzig. We thought this is a bit of a marquee signing. He's going to be the main guy. Looks really good with Poch in the pre-season. Gets that injury, and then basically the whole of last season is just riddled with injury problems. We see a little bit of quality here and there. And then I'm thinking, right, okay, they've got the emergence of Palmer. We've signed Felix. You're sort of thinking, well, where does Nkunku fit in this team? And then he plays well this preseason. He starts the first game of the season. Then we hardly see him. He started 3 games all season in the league. Maresca's consistently said this guy is not a number 9, yet plays him as a number 9, and then is maybe surprised when he does absolutely nothing. And I'm at the point now where I'm like, for me, Nkunku playing in the number 9 position is a net negative for the team.
It is.
It's actually affecting the team in a negative way. So if the only way Nkunku gets in the team is as a 9, then I'd rather he doesn't play for us. I'd rather give those minutes to Mark Guiu, who's actually going to press, who's going to run in behind, who's going to cause problems, going to chase things down. Mate, what are your thoughts on the Nkunku situation? Because for me,
he's unathletic.
It's a mad one, isn't it?
He's so unathletic. And that's the one thing you can't be in the Premier League in 2024 or 2025 now. Like, he's excellent finisher. I think we can both agree. Like, one touch, brilliant finisher.
He's great in the box.
Spaces when he doesn't have to think and he can just dribble past someone using quick footwork, brilliant. However, the minute he gets the ball and he has to travel 5-10 yards, he doesn't have the burst of pace. He doesn't have the wherewithal or the weight of pass to play the pass. Everything has to be into feet. He needs to face it, slow it down, and it's overcomplicated. And I was having this debate with someone the other day. In my opinion, he's our 3rd best number 10. I think our best number 10 is Palmer. Our 2nd best one's Felix, in my opinion, and then Nkunku. And the explanation I was saying is, look at every Conference League game where they were rotating during the game. Felix would go 9, Nkunku would drop. The games that Nkunku started at 10, he's not involved. He reminds me of Mudryk. You know when Mudryk's like, oh, he's here for 5 minutes and then he disappears for 20. And you're like, the game's passed him by. Whereas with Palmer and Felix, it's give me the ball. I'm having a bad day, but I'm still going to try something. And that drives fans crazy. But it's what you pay to see your money, right? That's what your creative players are meant to do. I think the perfect example is the other day, West Ham, Salah. Salah missed 3 opportunities that if any one of our forwards missed, we would be rioting. But he walks away with, I think it was 1 goal and two assists. And no one says anything. Oh, it's a great performance. But in reality, he missed so many chances, poor weights of passes. And Nkunku needs to leave. I think this January, if we can offload him, go. Because there's no point of having him.
No,
he doesn't offer anything.
No, I absolutely agree. Like, it's such a weird situation to be in, because I honestly thought, I thought he'd be great for us. I thought he'd be like one of the main guys. And as we said, the injuries and then the emergence of Palmer signing Felix has kind of left him as a victim of circumstance, and there is no space for him in this team. I mean, part of me would like to have seen a bit more of Nkunku and Jackson, like we saw under Poch in that pre-season. It looked quite good, but we've never really seen that link up happen again. And I don't think we will. But right now, I think, again, you look back to decisions in the summer. It was a mistake not to sign a striker. Now, regardless of, it's easy to say, right? But I think we could probably agree that maybe we should have gone, or we should have done more. We should have done more to sign Duran, or we should have done more to sign Samu, and maybe you have don't bring Felix in though, and then you have Nkunku as a tennis. It's easy to say that, but then
it's harsh. It's harsh to say it, because they went all out for Duran. The fee just got stupid.
Yeah,
like, let's be honest, the fee got stupid. With Samu, I know people like Samu, right? And it's the idea of Samu that they like. Samu scoring goals in Portugal.
Yeah.
Darwin Núñez put up record numbers in Portugal. He's got the 3rd all-time best single season in Portugal. None of us would take Darwin Núñez at Chelsea now.
No.
Gyökeres is putting up crazy numbers, yet 18 months ago at Coventry, he was putting up normal numbers in the Championship. That league, the disparity between the bottom and the top is so big. It's some of the like bottom teams are Conference League level teams. So Sammy looks great, but all the intangibles that he would have needed at Chelsea, he just wasn't ready. Like, I think it would have been a waste of money, and we all would be talking about him the way we're talking about Mark Guiu right now.
Yeah, it's difficult, isn't it? I think
It's horrible.
timing's so important with these. And like I remember in the summer saying, like, you know, I still think it's a mistake to go like to bring in another inexperienced striker. And it's all very easy to say, oh, you know, look, you look at Samu scoring goals in Portugal now. You look at Duran doing well. Oh, we should have done this. We should have done that. It is, again, it's an easy thing to say. But the striker thing is really difficult because I don't think we're going to sign a big name. The Osimhen situation for me is been and gone. We shouldn't be revisiting that. I think it was the summer or bust, and that's done now, I think. But then you look at someone like Liam Delap, who I think has got enormous amounts of potential. But again, how different
Is he ready?
Is he ready? How much better than he is he than an Omarodion, for example? I wouldn't say he was better than John Duran. Yes, he's got the profile we're looking for. He's strong. Maresca knows him. Joe Shields knows him or whatever. He's got the profile. He runs in behind. He's a nuisance. He does all the things that we'd be looking for in a striker who's got box presence, good in the air, which Jackson doesn't have. But you're basing that off maybe half a season at Ipswich so far, where he scored 7 goals on a struggling side. Not a bad return. What's he going to do over the second half of the season? Is that the right player to bring in? And then I've asked myself this question: can Chelsea challenge and win the biggest trophies with Nicholas Jackson and Liam Delap, for example, as the front two strikers? And I know it's not all done on names, and profiles and systems are important in football, and that's the most important thing. And I do think we need to move away from names to profiles that suit a system. But you look at it in that situation, could Chelsea challenge for the Premier League title, win the Premier League, win big trophies with Jackson and Delap as a front two? And I find myself thinking, I'm not sure if we could.
No, we won't. And I'll tell you why we won't. We don't know what Delap's like against low blocks. I'm sorry. When there's no space, why did Delap look so great against us?
So much
there was a ton of space, one-on-one with Tosin, one-on-one with Colwell. He's running in, he's barging into them, he's causing chaos. I didn't see any link-up play apart from the one way he just laid it off to Richardson for Omari Hutchinson, for the goal. And even then, Disasi's defending was lackluster. There was zero effort. Like, literally, there was zero effort to get a block in. I think we're in such a tight situation because what I think the club did in the summer was, we'll get Osimhen if we can. They couldn't agree on their terms. And I think they believe Jackson's going to take the next step up. The only way we find out if Jackson takes the next step up is by being patient with him and giving him the season. Because he's done everything else they've wanted of him. He came in like a raw striker. He scored 14 goals. He's on track now to get 18 to 19 goals without penalties, which is mental. For how many chances he also misses. Like, he's doing well. I think a lot of us want to win the league. And because we're Chelsea fans, the aspirations should always be, we should try to win the league, right? But some of these players aren't ready for it. And it's unfair for us to expect that they are. It's like the Levi Colwell situation now. There's a segment of fans saying he's not good enough to be at Chelsea. He should be leaving. He's played 50 games in the Premier League.
He's 21 years old. But just on that as well, do you know what I've noticed, right? And I was like getting annoyed at people at this earlier in the season, right? Because there was a section of fans that when Tosin played against West Ham, I think it was, and Fofana played at right back in that game, that was saying, oh, Fofana's not that good. Tosin's better than him. Tosin should be starting. Look right now, right, how much we miss Wesley Fofana in terms of his aggression, his front foot defending, his recovery pace, all those things, right? You look at, I'm not saying we would have won the games that we lost if Fofana was playing, but I can tell you now, we would have been much better defensively. And look how much better Levi Colwell plays when Fofana's alongside him. And now look at how he's playing, where his last few games have not been that good with Tosin alongside him. So I think Fofana gets massively disrespected as well. But then it goes back to decisions made in the summer. You're kind of gambling a little bit on Fofana staying fit for the majority of a season, where he's not proven that he can in recent years. You bring in Tosin on a free as an opportunity, who is not really, at 27, is not really going to get that much better. You've got Badia Shill, whose confidence is shot, and he can't seem to stay fit right now. And you've got a Disasi who's not good enough. and then
This
you
is
wonder why,
this
and
is
then
the
you wonder
argument.
why they're struggling defensively.
And this is the argument, isn't it? Because if you look at it realistically, Enzo's decisions have told us first choice is Levi Colwell and Fofana. Then when Fofana got injured, he put Badiashile in. And now Badiashile is out. So now we're down to fourth choice centre half playing regular minutes. And we're getting annoyed that the performance. For me, the issue is we should have never signed Tosin. Should have kept Alaba. I hate saying
Yeah,
this
no, bro,
because I,
you're absolutely
I
spot
don't
on.
I don't think there's a financial upgrade because what's going to happen is they're going to sell for Chalobah. They'll get 25 million. They'll sell Tosin in the summer. They'll get
Profit.
15
Yeah,
million pure profit. And it sounds great on paper. It's a great business move. However, on the football pitch, I'm in the camp now. Give Josh Achimpong the right back minutes instead of Disasi. He is a right back.
yeah, of course.
Because I'm seeing Lewis Skelly play. I'm seeing Ethan Nwaneri play. I'm seeing Kobe Mainu play. What makes you think Josh can't do a job against the championship side? I don't care that Ipswich beat us. I saw them against Arsenal, and the reason why the game got ugly is because they got a VAR penalty, because it wasn't a penalty. VAR
No,
should have
yeah, yeah.
intervened, and it completely flipped the game. We had so many chances to be 3-4-1 up at halftime.
Yeah, we did, but just there's a good point you make on the defense, right? I was just going to add that, like, you look at it and Chalobah's gone, right, and Thiago Silva left. So, right, we didn't replace Thiago Silva. We brought in Tosin, who at best is
You
leveled
got me twisted.
at best is level to Chalobah, right? So you could actually argue from last season with Chalobah and Silva gone and just Tosin coming in, we have actually made the squad worse defensively
But
with
they'll
those
argue that
decisions.
they got Fofana back. He's a new
They would
signing.
argue that, but yeah, of course. So Fofana is back. But what I'm saying is, though, realistically, we are still worse off. Even if Fofana's back as, say, the Silva replacement, as it were, even though he's not. But let's say Fofana takes Silva's place in the
Yeah.
squad. You've then obviously you still lost Silva anyway, and then Tosin is not better than Chalobah. So you have downgraded the defense with decisions made in the summer, which just seems mad.
If you look at the summer window, right, and if we quickly just like flick through it, Jurgensen, I'm happy with. Are you
Yeah,
happy with him?
yeah, I think
Happy.
so.
I think genuinely everything I've seen, he should be our number one. My personal opinion.
Yeah, of course. Yeah, yeah, I
Yeah.
agree.
I don't like the Viega signing at all. I
It's
don't
come
think
out of
Viega's
nowhere as
good.
well. Just
I don't think he's
random.
good. I see a lot of the fan base like the intangibles, the passion merchant thing about him, the fact that he likes to get stuck in, and he's easy to cheer for.
Yeah,
But
yeah,
if you
yeah.
look at him as a footballer, I don't think he brings anything where I'm like, oh, we should have went and spent money on it. And I think it's another one
Yeah.
where they're planning on selling within the next 18 months, and 12 million will quickly turn into 23, and they're going to say, oh, we made 11 million profit on him.
They'll double the money on him for sure.
Yeah, because he's got international caps now. It's an opportunity buy. I think João was cover for Cole Palmer, just in case he breaks down. And then they quickly found out, right, we need to get this done for the Gallagher move. Fair enough. Sancho has been a good signing based because Enzo loves him. Neto's been a good signing because he hasn't broken down. And in my opinion, GNA isn't everything. He creates good chances. And then Keenan Dewsbury Hall and Tosin, I'd rather not speak.
And we spent 19 mil on Kellyman, who's not even been fit all season.
He doesn't exist in my world.
No,
I don't know.
Yeah,
I can walk past him. I don't know who he is. Like, genuinely. And as a content creator, that's worrying that I don't know who a Chelsea player is.
No, but bro, he's never going to play
Cost
for us.
19 million.
I said it when we signed him. This guy will never play for us. He just won't. It was just a favour to Villa. That's what it was at the end of the day. But last thing, bro. Last couple of minutes just to round out. What are your thoughts for the second half of the season? Obviously, we're still on track for the top four. The gap has closed to 3 points with Newcastle in fifth. You confident that we can get the job done in the second half of the season? No real concerns.
I think so. The way I look at it is the first half of the season we've got 10 wins, and that's the initial process of implementing the system and understanding how Enzo wants things to work. hope the next half of the season we get 12 wins out of 19, and that should be more than sufficient, because 12 wins will be what, 36 points. I assume we're not going to lose 7 games, draws here and there. I want to hit somewhere between 74, 75 points, and that would be a great season, because I don't remember the last time we hit those numbers. I think Tuchel before the sanctions.
Yeah, it's been a while.
It's been a while. Like, you're not going to jump from 64 or 65 on the Poch to the 80s like it was looking. It's funny, because if Pickford gets sent off and we get that penalty, we win that game. And then what's it called?
Yeah, and then you you look at Cucurella's header against Fulham. You should probably score that. That game's then 2-0. Maybe it's different. So it is fine. It's fine margins.
It's fine margins. And then me and you are sitting here right now, and we're saying, "Oh, add 6 more points onto our leaderboard, or 5 more points." And
Yeah,
we're like, "Oh, we're potentially in a title charge, maybe, aren't we?" Like, it's just so interesting. I'm happy with where we are. It's a realistic place. What I want is get players out in January.
Yeah.
Like, I want Carney gone. I want Ben Chilwell gone. I want Mark Guiu on loan. I don't want. I don't know why he's here. Yeah. You're not going to get this. The thing is, I've accepted Disasi's not going anywhere.
Happen. Yeah. Guiu's a strange one, isn't it? Like, you're sort of thinking he should be playing number 9 minutes, but he's not. He doesn't. I think he's played maybe once in the Premier League this season.
Man City, first game of the season.
He'll play in the FA Cup against Morecambe, but other than it's just a complete. I think it's a waste of time for him. Like, he should be on loan, playing regularly. That's the whole point.
And what's crazy is if he plays EPL 2 minutes, he will be putting up crazy numbers, because just look at his build, look at his pace, and look at his ball striking.
He's got great attributes.
Yeah, and at that level, youth team level, he'll be a monster, because he'll just overpower everyone. But he won't learn how to play against actual men until he goes out. Honestly, I said give him a League One or a Championship loan.
Championship loan would be good for him. Like, we've used the Championship well in the past with certain players, like Tomori in the past, Mount, Reece James. These guys have benefited from a Championship loan. It's a physical division. It's a really good learning school for someone like him. So, mate, I agree. He should be going out on loan somewhere. But, well, in my opinion, really, we should be getting rid of Nkunku anyway. And then you give Guiu those number 9 minutes. I don't know. But, yeah, I think it's important, really, that we don't have a busy window. Look, if an opportunity presents itself, fine. Let's get the players out that you mentioned. Let's get them gone. Let's focus on getting everyone fit. Let's just reset and then push on for the second half of the season. We've got more than enough to get in the top 4. We've got more than enough to win the Conference League. And that would be a very, very good season. But, yeah.
I also want the FA Cup.
Yeah, and the FA Cup as well is a possibility. You've got no idea what we could do in that. We've got a pretty good record. So there's still a lot to play for this season. We're in a very good position. There's definitely no reason to panic after 3 games without a win.
One question before we sign off. Fikayo Tomori, would you be interested in taking him back?
No, because unfortunately he's regressed a bit. And if we're looking at making upgrades, like, it needs to be a significant upgrade. Is he better than Tosin? He probably is a little bit. But if we're looking at improving the squad, for me, you need a significant improvement. There's no point going from, like, iPhone 10 to 11. You need to go from like a 10 to a 13 or a 14. I think Tomori coming in would just be like, we've just gone up one model of phone, when actually you need to be going up 2 or 3. It's just a bit of a sideways signing. I just don't see what it brings.
No, I totally understand what you're saying, because for me, the argument is I'm praying Fofana stay fit, and then having Tomori as the cover for him, I get it. But even then, I think you're spot on. Like, I'm talking myself into the signing rather than being happy, and that's a dangerous area to be in. So I totally agree with you. The way you worded it was perfect.
Yeah, look, if it happens, it happens. I'm not going to like cry about it or anything, but I just don't think it addresses what we're looking to address, and it would be more of a quick fix thing. He's 27. I know that's not old, but for us, it's old.
Yeah.
It just for me, it just doesn't really make too much sense. But I mean, look, let's wait and see. But yeah, I mean, we could chat all day, but I'm going to round it out here, bro. Thank you so much for coming on. Great to catch up with you. Let the people know where to find you if they don't know.
Guys, on YouTube, the Kafka's View, you get daily dose of Chelsea. I talk about the transfer rumors. We talk about the ones that are more credible than the lies. As in, with the lies we don't even mention. It's better to hear like from valuable sources. But all jokes aside, match reviews, previews, and good interaction. I've got a really nice community that's built up there where everyone's really nice. The comment sections aren't horrible. I haven't reached that stage yet. So yeah, Kafka's You. I'm guessing there'll be a link in below,
Yeah,
so you
it'll
guys
be
will find
tagged
me.
in it, guys. It'll be tagged in the title. Make sure you click on it, subscribe. Some great stuff over there. So please do go and show Alexis some love. Thanks for tuning in, people. Smash the like, subscribe, all that good stuff, and I'll catch you again soon.